Title: The Whispering Shadows. On the outskirts of the small, isolated village of Ravenswood, there stood an ancient mansion, abandoned for decades. It was a place where darkness seemed to seep from every crack and crevice, and the very air felt heavy with a chilling presence. Locals spoke of it only in hushed tones, warning one another to stay away from the malevolent place. One moonless night, a group of curious teenagers decided to defy the warnings and venture into the mansion. James, Sarah, and Alex, armed with flashlights and brimming with bravado, crept into the dilapidated building. The entryway was draped in cobwebs, and the floorboards creaked with every step they took. The air grew colder as they descended into the heart of the mansion. In a dimly lit room, they stumbled upon an old book, its pages yellowed and brittle. It told of an unspeakable curse that had plagued the mansion for centuries, a curse that fed on fear and despair. The teenagers laughed it off, dismissing it as mere folklore. But as they continued exploring, strange things began to happen. Whispers echoed through the corridors, soft and sinister. Shadows danced along the walls, growing darker and more malevolent with each passing moment. The group's laughter faded as a sense of unease settled over them. They tried to leave, but the doors and windows had mysteriously locked themselves, trapping them within the mansion's suffocating embrace. As the night wore on, their fear deepened. They heard footsteps echoing in empty hallways, and the whispers grew louder, forming unintelligible words that sent shivers down their spines. Sarah's flashlight flickered, casting erratic shadows that seemed to take on sinister shapes. They huddled together in the center of a room, their breaths shallow and their hearts racing. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the darkness, a spectral figure with hollow eyes and outstretched arms. It moaned softly, its voice a chorus of mournful wails. The group screamed, their terror piercing the eerie silence. James tried desperately to break a window, but the glass wouldn't shatter. Alex attempted to force open the doors, but they remained stubbornly locked. Sarah clutched the old book, her trembling hands flipping through its pages. There, she found a passage that spoke of breaking the curse, a sacrifice to appease the restless spirits. As the ghostly figure drew nearer, its moans growing louder and more desperate, the group realized they had no choice. They formed a circle, holding hands, and chanted the words of the ancient incantation. The room trembled, and a blinding light enveloped them. When the light faded, they found themselves outside the mansion, surrounded by the first light of dawn. The mansion stood there, as dark and foreboding as ever, but the whispers had ceased, and the shadows had retreated. The teenagers never spoke of that night again, each haunted by their own memories of the sinister mansion. They learned the hard way that some secrets were best left undisturbed, and that in the darkest corners of the world, there existed forces beyond human comprehension, forces that fed on fear and thrived on the boundary between the living and the supernatural.